This is really, excuse me. Hello? God? Yes. I'm here in Cape Charles, yes. I know you know because you're God. I promise to do what I say I was going to do. Yeah, I promise I'm going to do what I prayed for. I'm going to empower them. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, God. Talk to you later. Thank you. Okay, that was an important phone call. Okay. I'm here today to give you a message. I was just told to give you a message. And the message is, you're outstanding and unstoppable. Okay? Give yourselves a round of applause for being outstanding and unstoppable, and for just being here also. Give yourselves a round of applause. I don't have much time to share with you all the information that I want to share with you up here today because my time is limited. But I want you to know there's plenty of opportunities for you to get the information that you must have. But also, before I get started, there's a disclaimer I must make. And the disclaimer is, you know how when you see the commercials on television or you read your pill boxes, the disclaimer? So I have my own disclaimer. And that is, don't just believe what you're about to hear me say. Got you quiet, huh? Because you may say, well, who's going to tell me something, tell me don't believe it? What I mean is I want you to feel what I'm about to say. Okay? Has anyone ever gotten a card from someone or someone said something to you and you really didn't feel that they were really sincere what they were saying or what was in the card? All right, and I know that we're at an empowerment event, but I also like to keep it real. Okay? Has anybody here, or maybe not here, or may know someone who's gotten a fake compliment before? Come on now, let's keep it real. Y'all don't want to raise your hands. Okay, I know who you are, okay? So let's turn it around. But has anyone ever gotten a compliment from someone, even though they said what they said, but you knew that they were really sincere, what they were saying, you knew they really meant what they were saying, and you really felt it? That's what I'm talking about. I want you to feel what I'm about to say to you. Okay, so I'm going to tell my story, and by you experiencing my story, you'll begin to pick up some tools and information that's going to help you grow. So I want to start off with, look at your neighbor and tell them you're outstanding and unstoppable. And say it like you mean it. You know, like when y'all going to church today, Saturday, you're going to church tomorrow, right? And you know what the pastor's going to say. Okay, so I'm going to look at your neighbor and say you're outstanding and unstoppable. Okay. When I was a little boy living here in Virginia, I used to sit in front of the television on Saturday mornings and watch American Bandstand. Yeah, American Bandstand, which was hosted by Dick Clark, who later on became the host of the New Year's Rockin' Eve All Night, which was held in Queens, New York, up in New York. I'm mentioning Dick Clark because there's probably maybe a few of you, especially the young adults over here, are wondering what in the heck is American Bandstand? Who the heck is Dick Clark? But American Bandstand used to feature a lot of artists such as James Brown, Aretha Franklin, the Beatles, Gladys Knight, and even the Jackson 5 with Michael, when they were, after they got started. But I know I'm taking you back in time, but stick with me. There's a message in my story. So also, living here in Virginia, when I was living here as a little boy, there was a dance hall right down the road from our house. And which me, my brother, and my sister lived with my grandmother. We lived with my grandmother because my parents moved to New Jersey to find better paying jobs, in which they did move us to New Jersey with them eventually. But when they used to come to Virginia to visit us and spend time with us, they used to take us down to the dance hall where people would be down there having fun. Because as a matter of fact, on a day like today, especially when it wasn't raining, a nice day or warm, hot summer day, going down to the hall was the place to be. And actually, it was actually walking distance, from our house. And just not long ago, a couple of years ago, me and my mother was talking. And I asked her, we were talking about the time she was taking us to the dance hall, and I remember her not taking us as often as she did. And I asked her, why did you stop taking us as much as you did? She said, I was the reason that she stopped taking us as much. And can you believe that she said the reason that she stopped taking us, because I used to dance too nasty. That's what she told me. So, yeah, I laughed too. I was like, what do you mean? The nerve of her messing up my dance career like that. I could have been on Broadway and Hollywood, even Dancing with the Stars, anywhere. But she messed it up. Dancing too nasty. I still can't believe she said that. But eventually, our parents did move us to New Jersey with them. And I became friends with the kids who lived up the street, Butch and Sandy Flowers, who came from a musical family. Their father played guitar and sang in a gospel group, and they had cousins that lived around the corner who were musicians also. And after they taught me how to play the bass guitar, I finally got my opportunity to be on stage, as I always wanted to be on stage, playing at a local talent show. But I wasn't as good as they were because, you know, my background was a dance hall dancer. I was a dance hall nasty dancing boy, as my mama said. So that was my background. But even though I didn't learn the songs as fast as they did, I'll always credit, you know, the Flowers family for helping me early in my music career. Also, living in Virginia here, I was we played baseball a lot. We played baseball in the backyard, front yard. We played baseball in the road. And actually, when it wasn't harvest season for the plant crops, we even played baseball in the field. So moving to New Jersey, I began to play baseball for the junior high school baseball team, but that didn't last long. The reason why that didn't last long because I gave up baseball to play music on a regular basis. And to be honest, to be transparent, I gave up baseball because I was getting a lot more attention from the girls playing music, playing in the bands. But even then, I was also reminded from, you know, sometimes people can be mean, sometimes people are mean, and I was reminded at times from guys that were living in the area that were already playing music that I wasn't as good as them. That, you know, I was just average. But even though that did bother me, I didn't let it stop me. The fact that someone telling another person that they aren't good at something, it will have some type of effect on them. It could be either negative or positive. You could use it to dim your light, or you could use it to light your fire. You know, there are some people, you know, say, I'll show them that I could do it. But then there are people like myself and you that we can dig down within ourselves and prove to ourselves that we can do what was said that we couldn't do. Because once you prove it to yourself, what other people think about you is secondary anyway. So you prove it to yourself that you can do what they say can do, that you couldn't do. And besides, in most cases, we could do it better than they could do it anyway. It bothered me, but you know what? I didn't let it stop me. I never stopped practicing. I never stopped playing my guitar. And like they say, the rest is history. In high school, I started to begin to live my dreams. Because the band I was playing with then up in New Jersey, we were playing in a lot of places. We were playing in a lot of places we really shouldn't have been in. Because we were in high school. We were playing in a lot of bars and a lot of clubs in New Jersey and in Philadelphia and sometimes in New York. But I can remember us planning our first road trip. Because you ladies and gentlemen have seen the movies and the musicians always talking about road trips and road trips. So we were planning our first road trip as a band. And our first road trip was to come to my hometown right here in Cape Charles. So we made all the arrangements. We rented a van to bring the equipment down here. We did everything. We bought new uniforms. We practiced day and night. We did all the things, but there was only one thing left out. And remember the cartoon Scooby-Doo, he was at Roop. That was only one thing left out. And the question was, how do we get to Virginia and who's going to drive the van? Because the fact that the singing group that we were a backup band for, they were all adults. And the rest of the guys in the band, we were all in high school. And the fact that none of them had never been to Cape Charles, had never been to Virginia, other than me mentioning it, hearing about Cape Charles, being that it's my hometown, I said, you know what? I'll drive the van. 17 years old, no license, no permit. Y'all laughing, my mother didn't think it was funny though. No permit, no license. So we made an agreement, you know, because they knew I knew how to drive, so we had to make a disguise for myself. So we went to the store and bought one of those big Applejack hats. The Applejack hats that Donny Hathaway used to wear. Everybody know who Donny Hathaway was? Some of y'all over here not clapping don't know who Donny Hathaway is. Donny Hathaway, okay. Y'all forcing me to do this. Uh-oh. No matter how old you are, I'm going to come over here to the young adults also. No matter how old you are, you hear some of Donny Hathaway's songs every Christmas. Every holiday you hear his song. Christmas song. And I know one of my cousins, she said, are you going to do it? Are you going to sing it? Okay, yeah. Every Christmas you hear Donny Hathaway song, it was like, hang on the mistletoes, I'm going to get to know. Have y'all heard that Christmas? You better. That's Donny Hathaway. Okay. So we bought a hat, I put the back hat on, and put some sunglasses on, and I drove that van from New Jersey to Virginia. The plan was for us to play at our family reunion during the day, and then that evening we were going to play at this location that my father and my cousin was managing in Sheridan somewhere. But we came down and we played. And my message is I did not have any fear. I didn't have no license, no permit. I didn't have no fear, no self-defeating thoughts. All I had was my focus, my determination, and my unstoppable drive that I wanted to do and that I wanted to get here. So my message is that you can do that also. You can dig down within yourself and do what you want to do. After high school, I joined the military. I joined the Army, and my goal was to join the Army band. That was my focus, because when y'all don't know if you know about joining the Army, join the military, your 3 highest scores, that's what they go by. One of my highest scores was electricity and personal administration. But they told me once I got to my station, I could join the Army band. That's been over 40 years ago, 45 years ago. They haven't called me yet. I haven't played the Army band yet. Maybe they want me to play in the senior citizen Army band another 10 or 20 years from now. I don't know. But I did my time in the military. I did 3 years. After I got in the Army, I became the bass guitar player for Millie Jackson. I don't know if that's a good one. If you hear what I'm about to say. Okay, Millie Jackson back in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s was a very popular R&B singer. Also, here comes the part. Also, Millie Jackson was one of the cursingest singers that was out in R&B. If you never cursed or you never heard a curse word in your life, if you went to a Millie Jackson concert, you learned some curse words. If you already knew some curse words, if you went to a show, you probably learned some new ones. Thank God it didn't affect me. Even though she did say some words to the band, but it never really affected me. But even though in that time, can I come down here? Can I come down here a little bit, get a little closer? Even though, I'm gonna sit down on this one. Even though there are times that there were situations and challenges that I had to overcome. And those situations and challenges I did bring upon myself. And those were, the challenges I had was my past drug addiction. And the drugs that I was addicted to was cocaine, marijuana, and a few other things. I've done some things that I'm not proud of, such as sold some of my bass guitars, and also rented my car out, and even my grandmother's car, out to drug dealers for exchange for drugs. I'm not going to go into that story because that's for another speech and another event. But even though I admitted myself into a drug rehabilitation center in Princeton, New Jersey, I didn't stop using drugs until about a year later. Because one night, coming in the house, I was sitting on the 3rd floor of my mother's house on the bed, which I just came from getting high. I had on a tuxedo. The reason why I had on a tuxedo because the band I was playing with at the time, we were a wedding and a corporate band. And that was our uniform. We wore tuxedos. The band was in Princeton at a corporate job waiting on me, and I was out in the projects. There's a place in Trenton, New Jersey called the Dolly Homes. I was out in the projects with a tuxedo on getting high. You know, you see in the movie sometimes, and they're talking and they freeze, and the narrator is talking and they freeze, they set for a minute. I want to freeze for a second. But you imagine a man out in the projects with a tuxedo on getting high. Yeah, that was a sad moment. But that night, I sat on the bed and I prayed and I asked God to take those drugs and that addiction out of my life. I mean, like I said, I wasn't ready earlier to stop because I didn't know why I was letting drugs to control me. And this is a message. It could be any addiction that's controlling anybody that you may know. I finally realized and understand why I was allowing the drugs to really take hold of me, because I was using that as a Band-Aid to heal the hurt that I was carrying around for so many years, even from childhood. But that night I prayed and I asked God to take the drugs out of my life. And ever since over 25 years ago, I've never touched drugs or had a desire to do it again. That night God changed my life. And I really thank God, because you know what, that night I began to embrace my power. And that's what you need to understand, to embrace your power. We all have power within us, so we need to embrace it. As our host mentioned earlier about me, I'm author, life coach, empowerment coach. There are a lot of people who read my books and listened to my newly audio CD, and they've had some amazing results, and you can have the same opportunity. But you know what? There's a famous quote. There's a quote by this famous author. He's known in many states. As a matter of fact, he's been interviewed on television. He's had his own radio show, own talk show. He's known worldwide. And his quote is, "I can walk with you, but I can't walk for you." Meaning, I can give you this glass of water, but I can't drink it for you. That author, worldwide renowned author, his name is Skip Bayless. Give him a round of applause. Wow. Even though, you guys are a great audience also, even though those situations and challenges that I had to overcome, now I look at them as being a part of the process. I learned to accept the process, look at it and let it go, because God has guided me to take those life experiences and put them and turn them into learning tools. Meaning, by putting them into a book form, audio CD form, also upcoming stage play form, so that you and other people can read and listen to help you grow and avoid some of the pitfalls that myself and other people have experienced. So now that you've heard my story, who in this room thinks that you have greatness within you? Raise your hands. Greatness, because we all do. Who's ready to grab a hold of your success? Raise your hands. Okay, good audience. We need to take them on the road with us. Who's ready to grab a hold of your greatness, dig down, and get some serious results? Give yourselves a thunderous, big round of applause for that. Because you know what? And it's when you hear speakers speak, they actually give yourselves a round of applause. Because it's so easy for us to celebrate somebody else. It's so easy for us to tell another person how they look, how well they look, or give them compliments, but we don't do that to ourselves. So that's why we ask you to give yourselves a round of applause. Because if a famous person walk in that room or walk into any room and you be clapping, people will not you, people will be clapping their hands off, but you won't do that for yourself. It's okay to do that for yourself. So, in closing, I'm on many stages speaking as an author, empowerment coach, and even as a musician. And I'm still living my dreams. I'm not saying this to impress you, but to impress upon you. That if a little country boy that once picked potatoes, tomatoes in a hot field, here in Virginia, y'all laughing at me. That's not funny, because some of y'all were there with me. In a field, and also later on in life became addicted to cocaine and drugs, and overcame that. If I can do it, you can do it. You can change, you can create the life that you want to live also. There's a saying also that says, if you think you can, you're right. And if you think you can't, you're also right. What do you think and what do you believe? I'm going to leave with this last thing. Your greatness, your success, your happiness, and your joy is only a decision away. I'm going to repeat that. Your greatness, your success, your happiness, and your joy is only a decision away, which is down inside you. And it's my dream and my goal is to help you to dig down within yourself and find that happiness, find that joy. Even though I can assist you with finding those things, but you have to dig down within yourself to find it. My name is Skip Bailey, your empowerment coach and friend. And I say to you, you're outstanding and totally, totally unstoppable. Because I believe that you're closer to your greatness and your success than you can imagine. I appreciate you and I thank you for your time. Now repeat after me. It's my season, it's my turn.
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 One more time. It's my season and it's my turn.
It's my season and it's my turn.
And I thank you.